Namaste. Welcome to this episode of the Bhagavad Gita series with my sister Bhavna Didi and me, Amish Tripathi. Didi, today we are going to discuss good fortune and bad fortune, and good luck and bad luck. Khush kismati or bad kismati. Everyone gets a bit of both, good luck and bad luck. How to handle this? That's what we'll discuss. And what does Lord Krishna tell us in the Bhagavad Gita? We're going to start with chapter 2, verse 57. Ya sarvatra nabhisnehas tat tat prapya shubhas shubham na bhi nandati na dveshti tasya prajna pratisthita.
One who remains unattached under all conditions and is neither delighted by good fortune nor dejected by tribulation, he is a sage with perfect knowledge.
Remain the same in both.
Good fortune itself can be a big pitfall, na? I mean, you can get arrogant, you can become egoistic, you can even become insecure like Lord Indra, na?
Yeah.
I mean, the king of the Devas, and he was forever frightened of losing his gaddi.
मेरी गद्दी चली जाएगी. You're Lord Indra, यार.
हाँ.
You know, but फिर भी
हाँ.
ये insecurity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, good fortune is,
You see it in so
oftentimes-
many, children of rich families as well.
Yeah.
Very wealthy families. In the West, it's so much more common. The younger generation out there is perhaps the luckiest, materially, perhaps the luckiest generation in human history. The boomers, when they die out, when all their wills come into effect, not all countries have boomers, and people try and apply it, but every country has its own demography. But in the West, in the US, the boomers, the wealthiest generation in human history, when they die, it'll be the largest wealth transfer in human history to the millennials and Gen Zs who are their children. So this younger generation that's there is materially the wealthiest ever. But you could argue they are also the angriest ever. Why is that?
Tremendous good fortune, but Warren Buffett has talked about something called the womb lottery. All they won is the womb lottery, right? And oftentimes the children of the wealthiest are just born in the right homes to the right family, and those who are born on the other side, are have just not won the womb lottery. That's it. So good fortune is हमारे हाथ में क्या है? It takes a village to make anyone successful, right? I find it amazing that these days it is almost eulogized as a great virtue कि सब मैंने जो अचीव किया है खुद के बल पे किया है. किसी से सहायता नहीं ली है और खुद के बल पे किया है. एक तो ये असंभव है that whatever anyone
no one
has
can make it on
achieved,
their own.
No one can make it on their own. And I think it's very egoistic, even if you have, to say it's all मैं na. Why is it virtuous to imagine that
I'm
whatever
self-made.
I have done, I'm self-made?
No
It's
one
a
is
great
self-made.
thing. Yeah.
No one is self-made.
Yeah.
There are always people who
मुझे
help.
समझ में नहीं आता.
Even in our background, if you think about it, yes, Ma and Pa didn't have too much money. We grew up in a humble background. But there was a speech I had heard of Vivek Ramaswamy, who ran for president in the US and is now running for Ohio governor. I have no views on American politics. I'm just talking.
Seriously, you have no views on
I have
American politics?
I'll calibrate that. That was a hard truth. I have no public views on American politics. I may have my private views. But I was only referring to a speech of Vivek Ramaswamy, which was a learning experience. But he said in many ways he was lucky because he grew up in a household where the parents loved each other, where they gave him, all his support required for good education. They encouraged and pushed him to compete. That was in a way a lottery, right? And that was probably true for us too. Yes, our parents didn't have money, But we had a house full of love. We had a house where all four of us were treated equally. The three brothers and our eldest sister. In fact, I would argue you got special treatment. They gave us an education way beyond their social class. They made so many sacrifices for us. I mean, for Ma and Dad, their only savings was actually the four of us. And we know the tremendous difficulties that they went through. And we are not the only ones. Many parents make these sacrifices for their children. Then for their children to stand up and say, I'm self-made, I came from nothing. You're completely belittling the massive sacrifices that your parents made. As compared to, say, another child who may have grown up in a wealthy household, but both his parents are missing all the time. He or she is essentially brought up by governors or governesses, completely alone, lonely, no one guiding him or her. You could argue maybe he was blessed with wealth, but maybe unlucky in everything else. So you should be grateful for the blessings that you receive. We receive the blessings of wonderful parents and focus. It's not just about wealth.
Yeah.
And be grateful for it, for that good fortune.
Yeah, you said unlucky. So what about bad fortune? Because some people just suffer from bad fortune. And bad fortune through no fault of their own. And you can sink into a feeling of victimhood, why me? And feel there's good reason, because life has not been good to you.
Life has been unfair. There's no one to blame. It happened to us. I mean, I don't want to speak about that. It happened to us. We could have gone into that negative spiral in those 6-7 years. But there are others like, that cricketer Rishabh Pant who had that accident. But he's back. He's back playing. Or Shikhar Dhawan. I mean, I'm a big fan of that guy. What a fantastic player, fantastic bat. I loved his mustache. One never knew of the personal difficulties he was going through because, I mean, you don't track personal lives. Why should we? We don't know him personally. But as one discovered in an interview, poor chap, I mean, he hasn't seen his son in 3 years, man. What can that be for a father? I mean, what is worse? You can't see your own child. I mean, nothing else means anything, But he still, through all those difficulties, he still went through life, doing what he was doing. There's bad fortune as well, and perhaps life comes out of how you handle it, not sinking into it and starting to see yourself as a victim. That doesn't help you.
Yeah, Sudha Chandran. She lost her foot.
Yes.
She became an accomplished
dancer. Those who don't know of her, Google. There was a movie on her as well. Long time back, we'd seen it. So our generation, of course, remembers her. She lost her foot from below her knee, if I'm not mistaken. Imagine that happens to a dancer. Okay. And she just, I mean, what strength of character. She didn't see herself as a victim.
Not only did she walk, she danced.
She danced.
On stage.
And danced beautifully.
Yeah.
I mean, people weren't applauding because they were trying to, be nice to her. They were applauding because, my God, she was brilliant. Which is that group, that Western group, Def Leppard. Again, our generation, we listened to their music. The youngsters who don't know, my son Neil loves Def Leppard. He's 15 years old, but he has good taste in music, man. He was saying, what are all these boy bands? They're like, yuck, I want to hear Def Leppard and Guns N' Roses. Yeah, that's my boy. But Def Leppard, essentially a band where, I mean, they had an accident. The drummer lost his arm. From below the shoulder. Imagine the drummer, right? Then there was another, something happened to the guitarist, something happened to the vocalist. There was like a series of tragedies, like they were being tested. But the band just stayed together. Even the drummer without the arm, they developed a special kit.
Wow.
Okay, and he would keep drumming.
Wow.
And you listen to that band's music. You're not pitying them when you love them. They are genuinely rocking, right? Def Leppard.
My favorite song, Photograph.
Yeah. Rocking group, yeah. But that shows that how you handle bad fortune as well. And bad fortune will hit all of us. Who escapes it?
Amish, I've listened to two of Sadhguru's pravachans on Lord Ram and Lord Krishna, and talk about the bad fortunes. You know that
Both of them
talk
suffered.
about Lord Krishna's childhood and Lord Ram's childhood, and Sadhguru says so beautifully that Lord Krishna, despite all his bad fortunes, never lost his joy. And Lord Ram, despite all his bad fortunes, never lost his equanimity.
And that's what we can learn from them.
Yeah.
That's what differentiates Lord Ram from Ravan. That Lord Ram also suffered, but the more he suffered, the more equanimous he would be. That if the world treated him unfairly, he would be different with the world. The more unfair the world was, the more noble he would be. Whereas Ravan's attitude was, the world hurt me, I will burn everything down. Similarly, between Lord Krishna and Shakuni, both of them suffered. Lord Krishna never lost his sense of joy, never lost his sense of I must do what is in the larger interests of everyone. Whereas Shakuni
became ugly.
And
Tragic life.
Tragic
Check
life.
out the life of Shakuni.
Yeah.
Tragic life.
He suffered a lot. No
his
doubt about it, in his childhood. But his reaction to that. And I think that's what perhaps Lord Krishna is trying to tell us in this, that good fortune and bad fortune will hit all of us. If we can be stable, then we'll live our life better, despite the good fortune and bad fortune that you get. Good fortune can distract you, bad fortune can suppress you. You can handle both if you're equanimous.
Coming back to that powerful word from the Gita, Sthita prajna,
Sthit prajna.
and from Buddhism and Jainism,
Yeah.
Samabhav.
Samabhav, yeah. What a wonderful place, I think, to end this episode. We hope you guys liked this episode of the Bhagavad Gita series. If you did, if you got some Sthit Prajna out of listening to this episode, hit like and subscribe below so that you can be notified when the next episode of the Bhagavad Gita series launches. Until next time, from my sister Bhavna Didi and me, Amish, thank you so much for joining us. Namaste. Jai Shri Krishna.